Hello and welcome to Uncovered, the podcast with your host, Jason Irving. Join me in a journey to understand what's truly happening in your world and the world around you. This is not about how you're living life on the surface. It's about what's truly driving you from under the covers. I'm going to take you on a journey to deeply uncover the reason why you are here, the ultimate purpose in your problems and the way that they have shaped your life up until now. See, I believe you have a purpose, and your problems are the highway towards ultimate realization of that journey towards freedom and the reconnection of your true self. I've been told I have a different spin on most things, and I'll be giving you my understanding of life, love, and what we're all here for, purpose. To get the best out of this podcast, drop what you already know so you can discover what's beyond you. So join me, let's play this game of life and bring on liberation, transformation, and change. Let's do this. All right. Thank you so much, Marita, for joining Uncovered. I'm really excited to talk to you about what you do and how you do what you do. So can you give us a little bit of a rundown of, who Marita is and, what it is that you do that you want to make an impact in this world with?
Yeah. So I'm Marita. I'm a skin and laser therapist. I've been in the beauty industry for, gosh, about the last 9 years now. It's gone exceptionally quickly, and I think what it is that I aim to do in the industry. I think beauty is such a big subject, and it's something that impacts everyone. I know I've personally felt the impacts of low self-esteem and body dysmorphia and everything that falls within that. So my main goal and my main purpose is to support people so they can feel really good about themselves, both in their appearance and how they feel internally, and do that in a way that is natural and also supportive of people's health as well.
Yeah, I love that. And so I know what you do is very, very different. So I know from talking to you personally that the industry is quite full of needles and full of quick fixes and all of these sorts of things. What
Mm.
makes you really different in the way that you approach as a person in the beauty industry?
Yeah, of course. So I think with me, and I think sometimes where the industry gets lost is sometimes we choose aesthetics over our health. And I think that's where it can get really dangerous because you can get addicted to the injectables, you can get addicted to the fillers and all of the other modalities and treatments that are out there. And I believe when sometimes you go down these paths, is we're looking for band-aid fixes around how we feel. So you're continuously doing all of these treatments to kind of mask how it is that you feel inside. However, the treatments and the everything that I offer is natural and it's designed to actually support the skin to get to the optimum health. So we can get you looking and feeling in a way that feels true to you and you feel really good about yourself and your appearance, but we're not covering up how you're feeling inside. And I think that's something really important that we need to do because when we're choosing treatments and options which may not be right for us, we can kind of go down a slippery slope where it might feel good in a moment, but it's not actually the best long-term option for you.
Yeah, I think this is really, really interesting. Being a male, looking at beauty is very, very different to a female. I know males are starting to get hooked into this a little bit as well in this day and age. Uh, I really feel for the women because, there's so much pressure put on you at such an early age about what you should look like, how you should look, and the way that you should look, and it constantly changes, right?
Mm,
So the way a woman was meant to look when I was a kid is not like the way women are meant to look now. Very, very
mm,
different because it changes based on, popularity and, different types of
mm,
people saying this is the way the look is meant to be. So, if we're in Africa and certain tribes, you'd have to have a massive long neck.
mm,
You'd be the most attractive person as a woman if you had the longest neck or if you had the biggest earlobes. So
mm,
how do we, sort of find this beauty in a
mm.
world where we are fully projected upon about what is beauty from a
Yeah.
collective sort of idea? What what
Mm,
what is it about this for you that, I
mm.
know you have so many people coming into your business and they don't feel good about how they should look.
Yeah.
But what is this should look stuff? What's
Mm.
going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so much pressure because I think with women we all want to feel loved and appreciated and accepted as people. I think that's something that everyone wants to feel. And I think what happens with all of these standards, we look at someone who has a face that doesn't move or doesn't have wrinkles and we go, "Oh, okay, that's the ideal that I need to be to feel loved and accepted and important." So then when we don't meet that ideal, our self-esteem drops because we go, oh, okay, this is what I need to look at to look like to be okay. So therefore I'm not okay. So what I really want to do for my clients and within my business is go, okay, cool. Like there's things that we can do to support your skin's health to get it in optimum condition. But let's actually get you feeling really good about who you are internally and really valuing who that real person inside of you is. Because all of us, regardless of how we look, deserve to feel loved and appreciated and important and respected. And that is so far beyond what our appearance is. However we look, I think is irrespective of that. But I think it's really getting people to a point where they feel so good about themselves and who they are internally as a person that they then want to show that and
Yeah.
embrace that externally. So it's not a case of I need to look perfect. It's I'm learning to value myself so much about who I am that I want to look after myself and my skin. And I think if we do that, it means then that we can really embrace our uniqueness as people, as opposed to actually needing to fit within a certain box to feel like we're loved and respected.
Yeah, I love that. And look, can I just let's go with a little bit of you here, Marita. Like,
Mm,
you've got skin that doesn't move very much, right?
mm,
From looking
yeah.
at this, if people are watching this on video, your skin doesn't move much, but you've got wrinkles. I know that because I've
Yeah.
seen you personally.
Yeah.
And you've had massive issues with your self-esteem around how you look. We've worked deeply about, feeling ugly and not feeling pretty and all of those sorts of things. So, what have you had to do personally to overcome
Yeah.
your feeling of maybe feeling grotesque or something not okay about you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And look, there's been a lot of things that we've worked on together because there was very challenging. Like I was someone who, ran a lot of body dysmorphia, self-esteem and what have you. And I always felt that I was too ugly to be seen and exposed. And it was really challenging. So I think what I've done with the personal work and what I've done with you is really be in acceptance, firstly, of how I felt and really just work with those deep feelings because I think like if we go down the skin treatment path and we're doing all of the treatment options out there, if we're not sitting and working with that, all of the treatments we choose to do become a band-aid fix. So I really had to acknowledge like how I felt internally. And what I also did, there was treatments that I had to stay away from. Like I realized that I was starting to get addicted to the injectables and what have you and all of that stuff. And I knew at that point, and we had a conversation at that point as well. I was like, if I didn't stop at that point, I would have been one of those people that would have become like quite facially dysmorphed and started to look weird and become quite emotionally unstable because every time I went to do a treatment at that point because I wasn't doing the internal work, I realized that I was just sticking a band-aid over my feelings. And then that was a decision I made at that point, which was about 7 years ago, where I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing something to my skin and my body where I'm going to cover how I feel. I'm going to make a commitment to uncover and work through it. So then I can support myself, but then I can also support my clients who come in feeling the same.
Yeah. And I've challenged you, haven't I? Like,
Yeah.
being a male to come in and tell a woman, hey, this,
Yeah.
it could have really gone south, couldn't it? Which is what, why are you like I really believe that women are dressing and doing for women, not for men. Like we're
Yeah.
not really part of this game. I don't believe because we don't notice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, but we notice extreme. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to just call you out right now, right?
Mm.
You might not like it. You might. I don't know. But
Yeah.
you have such beautiful eyes,
Oh, thank you.
right? But remember what I
Mm.
asked you to do is get rid
Yeah.
of those fake eyelashes
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
of
Yeah. I
years ago,
remember. Yeah.
right? And you felt really uncomfortable doing that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you thought if you exposed more, you'd be seen more.
Yeah.
As a male, all males think they look really silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All males think, whoa, what's that? What's going on here? So we look
Yeah.
and we go, whoa, that's weird,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? Because that's not
Mm.
natural. So we
Yes.
quite often we look at something that's not natural and we get attention. But
Mm.
for for the women, we're I just want to let you know, the only people who are interested in massive long eyelashes are the
Mm.
ones that want to treat women really badly in the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is really important, listeners, to know that, you know, you've been on a journey of so much, I
Mm.
need to look like this to
Yeah.
show. And I think you're such a good example of
Mm.
breaking a
Yeah.
mold where you were starting to put yourself in a mold
Mm.
unknowns to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
can I ask you, when I asked you to, take your eyelashes off, what did
Mm.
it feel for a little while when you were
Mm.
naked? You would have felt naked,
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I felt a lot of shame and disgust. They were the two things that I felt. Like shame in the sense of, oh, I need to be seen. I'm going to be seen naked, like you said, like without a cover. And I also felt disgust because I felt disgusting without the lashes on. I felt like I didn't look good, and then it brought into the I don't deserve to be seen, I'm too ugly, all of that kind of stuff. And what I realized through taking the eyelashes off is I'd actually started to almost like disassociate from my own eyes. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like I had to have my eyelashes on so I felt okay. So my eyes and lashes were part of my face. It's a strange thing to be able to express. But as I'd then taken that off and then I was looking after my eyelashes because my eyelashes got a bit butchered from the fake stuff, then over time, as I started to look after them, they felt normal and like they now feel like part of my face. And it is kind of just as it is, and I accept them more now. And I think that experience really showed me when we're using things that are artificial, we're actually disassociating from parts of ourselves, and therefore we're disassociating and not accepting that emotion. And when we don't do that, that can cause a lot of chaos that we're not aware of within our lives. So we might feel good while we're doing it, but we don't actually realize what it's covering underneath, and then that what that's doing to our psychology that we're not aware of.
And I think this is a systemic issue because, as you
Mm.
said, Marita, you said something really important there. You said you don't know
Mm.
while you're doing it, you think it's good.
Yeah.
Long term, it's actually not. It's
Yeah.
creating damage
Mm.
to the eyelashes, to the psychology with unbeknownst. Because
Mm.
what I think, I know this from working with women for so long, that there's a period in between 50 and 55, which is the most
Yeah.
horrendous period for women because they feel
Yeah.
like they're going invisible. So they, as a wrinkle comes on, as something gets more floppy or whatever it is, women
Mm.
get more worried, whereas guys don't, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this belief system that women are invisible. So Hollywood's
Yeah.
done this. Women,
Mm.
yeah, as women get older, they don't get the part,
Mm.
and so they try to keep themselves young so they can get the part. And then
Mm.
we
Yeah.
watch the movie, and then we go, oh, we've got to follow that Hollywood star to get the part because we're watching a fairy tale, something that's not real in our
Mm.
TV, going, that's what we've got to
Yeah.
be attractive, to be something. And
Mm.
and then we've created this morphic experience of what is
Mm.
beauty.
Yeah.
And look, for me, being honest with you now on this podcast, you look more beautiful than
Mm.
you did 7 years ago.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
And the
Mm.
reason why is because I'm seeing a more natural you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, the good guys, listeners, we want natural.
Mm.
We want someone to age gracefully with us. And you do everything. You have this amazing new technology that is so good, so natural, and
Yeah.
so built on reformulating the skin
Mm.
tissue. Can you just give us a little bit of a chat about your magical weapon that you have that's
Yeah.
quite unique to the industry?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I've got this treatment in the clinic at the moment called Switch, which is like a dermal rejuvenation system. And essentially, what it does is it resets your skin's biological age in the terms of how it functions. So when people hit pre-postmenopausal age, our skin function starts to slow, which is why we get the appearance of the fine lines, the wrinkles, the sagging, and what have you. What this treatment does is it actually changes how your skin behaves. So it behaves like a far younger skin. So then it's fantastic for reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles naturally by improving your skin's health, as opposed to using band-aid fixes, which don't actually fix the underlying cause. So it's an awesome treatment. Like the science behind it's incredible. And it really lines up to my ethos as well, because I want to make sure that we're looking after the skin's health, we're doing things that are natural and aren't potentially going to worsen the appearance of your skin over time through unnatural means.
Yeah, so from what I've heard, you tell me if I'm wrong, that
Yeah,
if we do an injectable or do a filler or something like that, the muscles are not
yeah,
getting a chance to do any movement, and we
yeah,
have meridians all through our faces. So
yeah,
the moment you put something right here, which is to make
mm,
sure you don't have a problem with your under eye, you're actually
yeah,
putting it right in your stomach channel.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I know people who've gotten stomach issues through injectables.
yeah.
So that's just another thing. But when
Mm,
we're looking at just the skin, does it harden the skin? What do those things actually do long term? Because I know you
yeah,
would have done research on this as
yeah,
well. Can you
yeah,
tell us
yeah,
what
of
that stuff
course.
does?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, overuse of fillers can stretch the skin and kind of morph the appearance of the skin. So, over time, people can start to look quite unnatural. It also doesn't do anything for the actual skin's health at all. So, it's kind of like just sticking a band-aid on and just shoving something in the skin so it looks better. There's an aesthetics purpose, but there's no real health purpose there. What some recent information has come out on, and this is very interesting. There was a doctor in America who did some studies on lymphatic drainage in the skin post using dermal fillers. And what they found was usually your lymphatic channels under the eyes will flush out within 24 hours. Like that's how the lymphatics works. However, people who'd had dermal filler in their tear trough area or their cheeks, even those people who'd had filler in that area about 7 years ago or a really long time ago, their lymphatic fluid was stagnant for over a week within the face. And so the lymphatic system is so crucial for health and immunity of the skin and the body. So as we're starting to learn about things like this now, it actually starts to point the eyes on, okay, maybe these things aren't actually as great for our health as what we thought. And the doctor in question, who was actually involved in this study, I believe actually withdrew dermal fillers from his practice altogether after learning that. So there's some information coming out now that kind of shows that it may not have been as harmless as what we'd initially thought.
Wow.
And also, too, we were also told that hyaluronic acid fillers, dependent on the filler that you choose, might last in the body for like 12 to 18 months or longer, depending on the one that you pick, but then they've totally flushed out. But we're now learning that the filler migrates, the filler swells, because, hyaluronic acid absorbs water. So it's actually creating a lot of abnormal changes within the skin.
Wow.
So now that all of this information is coming out, I think you can't ever go wrong with natural. And when you have natural and science behind it, because that's very much my ethos, have natural methods but have the science and the studies and the tests behind it, I think that's absolutely in the best way to go, because then you've got both science and nature in unison to do what's best for your health and aesthetics at the same time.
I love that. So, can you tell me? I've got a really cool question for people who may have be watching this and they've done the fillers like you have,
Yeah, yeah.
Botox, and you've done it. Does this product and process actually restructure something that has been harmed and has been pushed around from a synthetic way of approaching?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So it would support the skin's health overall. It will help tighten and firm the appearance of the skin. So absolutely, like if you've had some treatments done and the skin's feeling a little bit wonky, it will definitely support in that. It wouldn't get rid of the fillers and everything as such, but it will help improve the appearance of the skin naturally. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So there is a way to sort of help um, reconstitute.
Yeah.
Like for people who are, let's say, I know what you've said, but for people who are maybe not really good with all the sciencey stuff, you said biome,
Mm,
returning the biome of the skin. Can you tell us a little
yeah.
bit more in a little bit of layman's
Yeah.
terms about what that really
Yeah.
means?
Oh, yeah, of course. So essentially, what I was touching on there, there's this thing in the skin called the Krebs cycle, and that's how our skin creates cellular energy to function. So it's kind of like think of the skin's battery. In a sense, it's like the skin's battery. So when your devices are energized with the battery, they work. That's how batteries work. As our skin ages over time, our Krebs cycle slows down, which means our skin's batteries to create collagen, elastin, and all the things that it needs to have a really healthy, beautiful skin start to slow down, which means we don't have enough energy to create collagen elastin, which is why at that point we start to notice quite dramatically the skin sagging, the fine lines and wrinkles, and everything that happens around that. So essentially, what this treatment does is it re energizes your skin's batteries. So your skin is functioning like it did when you were 20 or 30 years old. So then you've got the energy to rebuild those collagen elastin stores within the skin. So you get a far more youthful skin, but also more importantly, your skin's actually functioning effectively. So we're treating the root cause as opposed to going in and putting a band-aid on it.
Yeah, I love that. So, like, I'm very into health. Can you talk about, the skin's an organ for people who don't
Yeah,
know, it's the biggest organ of our body.
yeah.
How important is it to make sure that we keep our skin in a really healthy way for our health and well-being?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's really important to look after our skins. Like our skin is the biggest organ, like you said. So if we're not looking after our skin and our body, our skin is the first thing that visibly changes when we're not looking after our health. So even having a really good skincare regime is going to ensure that your skin stays in really good condition over a significantly long period of time. Doing natural treatments is also going to support that too. And if you're not looking after your skin, then of course you have things like skin cancers and what have you also come about from poorly looking after your skin. So I think it's a really important thing to look after.
Yeah. So, for listeners, it's not just looking good in the mirror. It's about your health and well-being for your future,
Yeah.
right? And I think this is really, really important for everyone to think about. So, with your model of the world that's really changed, Marita, and the way that you think, do you support people who, obviously people are going to be having conversations with you, and they're going
Yeah.
to be telling, you're like a hairdresser. They're going to be telling you everything about what's really going on in their life. Are you able to support them in, how they're feeling about themselves? Do they come in and talk to you about
Yeah.
the deep down dark side of how they're feeling?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's funny because I feel like the treatment rooms evolved. Like people lie on the bed and then even though I may not explicitly say, hey, tell me how you're feeling about XYZ, it always comes out. It always comes out in conversations. And that's something I'm very comfortable in supporting people with, especially having experienced it myself. And the training and the accreditation that I've also gotten with yourself through the academy as well makes me very well equipped to support people when they are in the trenches and they are moving through the really heavy stuff. So no conversations too hard. Personally, I like listening to the gritty stuff because I know how it feels when you feel like you can't share how you're feeling. So I feel really privileged when people come to me and they actually feel comfortable enough to share.
Yeah, I love that. And so, how often does that happen? Is it most clients come and
Yeah.
sort of discuss, or does it take a little bit of time for them to open up
Yeah.
into, how they're really feeling? Because maybe in the first instance where they're going to a beauty therapist, they're going, "Can you fix this thing? Can you sort this
Yeah.
thing?" Can you,
Mhm.
because they'll be going very physically based,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
and you'll be going, very in a different track, like
Yeah.
emotionally. based by the
Mm,
sounds of you. If you
yeah.
tell me if I'm wrong here,
Mm,
and you're going to be opening maybe a doorway for them to walk through over time. Is that how it
yeah.
works? Like you tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think most people, like you said, they'll start off superficially and be like, oh, I'm not happy with this wrinkle or this pigment or my rosacea really bothers me or whatever it is. And then over time, throughout conversations, we tend to dig a little bit deeper through them. They feel more comfortable to share because I think that trust comes over time. At the same time, too, though, sometimes I get people come to me and within the first consultation, it's like, I don't like this, I feel really uncomfortable in my skin, and we can kind of dig a little bit deeper. So it tends to vary. I'd say most people over time tend to share that information. Some other clients do it straight away. I think at the end of the day, it's whatever they feel comfortable with. Like if someone came to me and was like, oh, I've got stretch marks and, I feel like I need to hide my body, and we got into more of the emotional side of things. Personally, I love that because I'm like, great, let's go. Like we can dig into this straight away. But I think it's also really guided by the client and what they feel comfortable with at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that. And so, another question about this: what's the demographic like? Are we for people who come to see beauty therapists? Because, like, I'm assuming you don't have any men. Like,
I do
have you?
actually.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
you do have men. Okay, so I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
because I've never been. I've never even thought to go to a beauty
Yeah.
therapist ever. So,
Yeah.
just not my thing. So
Yeah.
tell me
Yeah.
what age, what
Mm.
demographic, what does this even look like from
Yeah.
person who has absolutely no clue what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
of
about.
course. It's funny. The demographic is significantly more diverse than what you would think it is. So I've got everyone from, early 20s, they're worried about acne or scarring or things like that, to women up to 55 in their 60s wanting to have more support with the aging component and that side of things. So it's very, very broad and diverse. So I treat everyone from issues with acne, pigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles, loss of elasticity, rosacea, redness. Like it's very broad in that sense. I also have some male clients coming in as well. So usually for the men, that's diverse too. I've got men for laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, more things of that nature. I do definitely get some men that are interested in skin health as well. And I actually think that's good because I think for men, it can be a little bit taboo almost. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't use products and have self-care and look good because that's not a manly thing to do. Whereas I think that's great. I think everyone, male or female, deserves to be looked after and feel good about themselves. And whilst body dysmorphia and issues with self-esteem do tend to be more female prevalent, there's a lot more of that coming up now with men as well. So I think it's important for everyone to be looked after in that sense.
Yeah, I love that. And I think this is a really cool topic to talk through because, we all need to figure out, well, how can we be comfortable what's underneath our skin while also
Mm,
understanding how important our skin is for health and well-being,
yeah.
not just aesthetics, for it to be able to do its job. And I think you've got a really I love what you're saying here, Marita, because you're giving skin air to breathe.
Yeah.
You're basically giving it a chance to breathe what it needs to breathe because, at the end of the day, it's our biggest breathing apparatus.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's
And
our biggest detox organ. It's so important for it to be working effectively because if our body isn't detoxing and moving through toxins as it needs to, that can cause significantly more issues as well. So it all ties together in our body's health as well. And if we're putting things into our skin, which is challenging for the body to detoxify, then that also leads to a whole can of worms as well.
yeah, so look, how do you feel about being a little bit of an anomaly to the industry and being a person standing out saying, I
Mm.
don't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel frightened? What does that
Yeah.
make you feel being in an industry of quick fix, let's get it done to
Yeah.
let's make your skin hydrate, have
Mm.
air to breathe, and actually work on what's really underneath the skin? How
Yeah.
do you feel about being a bit of a rebel through your industry?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Look, I'll be honest, it's quite daunting. It's actually quite daunting because we're in an industry where even us as beauty therapists, like we also have the pressure to look perfect, have a face that doesn't move, because otherwise we feel like our clients judge us. So it's actually really scary to step away from that norm and go, okay, well, I want to do this in more of a natural sense. I absolutely get quite worried that the trigger is going to be pointed at me and I'm going to be told that I'm wrong and I'm not doing the right thing for people or whatever it is that people believe. However, I guess what trumps that is at the end of the day, I look at my own experiences and I know, oh, I might get a bit emotional here. I know what it felt like as a little girl growing up with so much pressure to be perfect and to
Oh,
look a certain way and do things that aren't healthy. So I fit into everybody else's box of being loved and accepted. And there is absolutely no way for my clients am I going to put that pain and that pressure onto them. So at the end of the day, people can say what they want. If I know that I'm doing right for my clients and the people that are trusting me to help them, then I think that trumps any sort of fear or discouragement at the end of the day.
oh, I'm loving that emotion that came out of you, that the teary 5-year-old girl that is there. What I'm hearing, hun, really is you're standing for the 5-year-old girls that actually didn't have all of this pressure that got put on them, that
Yeah,
you had to be a certain way. And you're actually fighting for that girl that could just walk down the street and didn't worry about anything. They didn't have
yeah,
to worry about what this whole thing was. Because, as little people, you don't have this running in your psyche. This is built into the world.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's it. And like there are so many people out there that they they don't share the beauty of who they are because they're told that they need to fit into a box and they need to look perfect to be beautiful, whereas I'm like totally reverse all of that. You are beautiful internally as who you are as a person, so let's embrace that naturally. Let's naturally celebrate who you are. So how you look externally mirrors how you feel internally and vice versa. So we're not stepping away from how we feel, we're totally integrating both of those parts of us.
Wow. So, this is a really amazing purpose, Marita. And I love being able to sort of dig. This is what Uncovered is all about. I'm trying to uncover the deeper part of why you're doing what you're doing and why it's so important to you. And, just feeling your emotions there and seeing you get really emotional about why this is so important to be natural, to be a rebel
Mm,
with the cause. You know,
yeah.
and have a really deep meaning that you're battling against a part of you that has felt hurt, ashamed, and dismembered
Mm,
by society, um,
yeah. Yeah.
and rules. That you're actually wanting to get the natural effervescence
Mm,
back of that little girl and put it into the woman.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% what it is.
That is freaking magic. So,
Mm,
for listeners who are, listening to this podcast, I'm gonna give all of Maria's details so she can, you can find out where she is. She has an amazing business in Canberra, and also watch what she does on socials because look, there would be people in your town that
mm,
do something similar to what Marita does. I know there's another person who does some amazing different version of what she does for health and beauty in her version and her way. There's lots of natural things out there, and there's people who are giving women their power back to be
mm,
beautiful, bright, natural
mm,
people on this planet, and you are one of them. And I am so grateful to see that you are in this world making a difference to the lives of people's hearts and minds of their internal beings,
mm,
while they might not be feeling that. And I think you're an essential service, Marita, in a world
mm,
that's becoming so artificial at the
mm,
moment with AI and all of these things coming in, where we're going to be potentially being robotic in so many
mm,
different ways, and you're helping create a natural phenomenon for this world. So
mm,
thank you so much for joining Uncovered. And I really appreciate your time today. And for listeners out there, please watch this woman, watch this space, and pick something that is like what Marita's doing so you can actually feel good in your 5-year-old body in a
mm.
nap. in your 5-year-old internal with an adult body, and know that natural and wrinkles is good, and know that there's ways to make your skin hydrate and feel healthy without
Mm.
having to dysmorph yourself. So thank you, Marita, for being you and being brave enough to go on this journey to help women and men, now that I found out, um, find their way back to true health and beauty.
Yeah, amazing. No, thank you so much, Jason. Likewise, thank you so much for having me on as well.
All right. Catch you all later. Hey, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We'd love it if you could like and share it with your friends. Our website address is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademy.com. We also have all of the videos on YouTube under Wellness Breakthrough Academy as well. We also do small courses, live events. I have an amazing book called From Broken to Breakthrough. We'd love the opportunity to give you a hand to help you live your purpose, to find out what you're here for, to give you the direction. Our courses are amazing, and we do everything really, really differently than what's happening in the world at the moment. So come and find out how we can help you break your limitations so you can live the life of your dreams. We'll chat soon.